Booze Brothers, mawrTRON here. We're reacting to a new video here. So I don't know what they're going to announce, but hopefully something legit.
Hey everyone, what is up? This is Brian, also known as Sketch across the community.
Oh, Sketchy
we are coming
dog.
to you live today from 343 Industries here in Redmond, Washington. And let me just say, it feels great to be back. I feel like today
Sketch.
has been a long time coming. I'm excited to finally kick this off. I know you all are. So welcome
Slight audio
to
delay,
today's live
Sketch.
stream, and we are going to dive into this weekend's upcoming Halo Infinite tech preview.
Yes.
Now, before we get going, just want to give you guys a little bit of context for what we're going to cover today. We're going to have a couple guests rotate through. We're going to dive right into the same exact build that Halo Insiders will get their hands on starting tomorrow. We are live, so all the same known issues that we're aware of in this tech preview that's work in progress are also in this build today. So who knows what's going to happen.
I know the
hopefully
feels,
everything
man.
goes smoothly.
Build
but
issues,
just
man.
ask everyone to bear with us. Also, I've kind of been in my house in the quarantine for about 2 years, if you can't tell. So we might be a little bit rusty, but we're going to have a lot of fun today. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about.
Know the feels, bro.
So to kick things off, want to introduce Sam Hanshaw.
Oh
producer
shit,
on the live
dude,
team.
is that me?
Sam, welcome.
Thanks. It's good to be here. I'm ready to have some fun and introduce.
I need some glasses, dude. That guy looks slick.
So let's sort of start
he's
by
got the
setting a
whole
little bit
look.
of context. And I know folks are eager to see stuff and dive in. We're going to get to that in a few minutes, but just let's kind of start
we
at
get
the
some
highest
mouse
level.
pads.
We talk about fighting a lot. We talk about tech previews a lot. Kind of what do we want our viewers and our insiders to know? Like, what do we mean? Like, what is the context for what this really is?
Sure. So I think that calling it a tech preview, that encapsulates it. We're testing our technology here. We're looking to get players into games.
One thing that's
We're
weird
looking
is
to make
they're
sure
doing a
that the
tech
servers are
preview
up and running
this
well, and that we can
late.
support
Like, this is
everything
supposed to be
with
coming
our
out in
service
3 months.
infrastructure.
It's weird
Obviously,
they're
we
at
also
this
want people
stage
to
of
have fun
development.
while doing it. And
If
we get
anything, it's
feedback
unless it's a
on
really
the
old
breadth of
build,
hardware that we know
I
is
don't
out there.
understand
You know, we
why
can't
they're
test
tech
on every
testing
combination
now.
of, hardware that people have
And that's
for
the
their
thing too. They're
PCs,
making it
but we know
for
that the folks at home can.
not
So
just
we need your
Xbox
help
but
to
for
do that.
PC now
And this
too.
is,
So I'm kind of
safe to
curious,
say this will
why
be the
is this a
biggest
tech
scale
preview?
test that we've been able to do
now?
to date. We're talking hundreds of thousands
Seems
of
late.
Halo Insiders have been invited to participate this weekend. And obviously, we've been hard at work testing. We've done smaller scale flights to lead up to this point. But like, what does that process look like? Like,
we cut this
Okay,
branch
sweet.
about 2 months ago, and that's when we started with a lot of the testing for it.
So the branched-
and kind of targeted bug fixes towards getting a stable.
I'd
bug
love to see their.
to
I'd love
have
to
out
see their
today,
Jira. You know, see
for
what
tech
it's
preview.
in the backlog.
Now, it's 2 months old. It's still got some bugs. We know that. We've got a robust known issues.
Well, that's the
list,
other thing too. Is if
for
they want to
folks to
deploy a
be
build for
prepared before
pre-flight,
dive
they actually
in,
have to branch
and
off an
we
old
expect
branch,
you
and it
to
might take
hit some
2
new bugs
months
that we haven't seen.
for that to
And
be
that's
ready
part
to
of
be
what we're
deployed
excited
even
about,
for public.
because
So
we need your help to find these bugs, and so we can see how they're reproduced and fix them internally. But yeah, it's been about 2 months of testing, fixing, and play testing to get to this.
and if I really wanted to roll it back even further, it's safe to say that we've been flighting as kind of a process. Which, by the way, for those that aren't familiar, because not everybody uses the same jargon out there, right? When we talk about flighting, it's really the process of putting out kind of iterative pre-release software to a target audience with some expected goals to go after. We put the build out.
this is pretty standard practice.
and we
You
act
know,
on
like
that
we
feedback and
we
sort
will
of move on to the
pre-flight
next
at
one.
work as
So,
we'll do
safe
flighting
to
at
say,
work
we've been
as
doing this
well.
for quite some time at a much smaller scale. So this is not the first time.
I
we've
think,
put
to
the
be
game in
honest,
the
like
hands
what will
of-
happen
of
with most flights as
civilians,
well
so to
is
speak.
all the
So we've been getting
343 team will
feedback all
be
along. I just
hands
kinda
on
wanted to
deck,
bring that
because
point up.
what's
This
going to
is
happen
not-
is as they
It's not
start to
like we've
deploy
just been
live,
hands
a
down.
lot of
This
the
is our
stuff
first
will
time
break.
sharing our baby with the world. We've
And
had
a lot of things
small
will need to be
group of,
patched, especially some
various
network
insider private
infrastructure and
flights,
things like
user
that. So
research. So all these inputs have been a critical part of development, really since the beginning, certainly. But now we're opening the floodgates to get all sorts of new perspectives.
So
and
these guys
I
will
think
be
critically
getting
fresh
ready
eyes,
for a very
brand
long
new
weekend,
perspective.
I would say.
Absolutely. Fresh eyes, fresh hardware, like everything that we could ask for. It's coming from the hundreds of thousands of people who are going to be.
But they
playing
have
this
to
weekend.
test, you see, because
So before we
there's
move
so
on, I
many
also
different
just want to
devices
comment
as well,
on,
so they kind of have to
if
test
your
on
Twitter feed's
everything.
like mine, the invite started rolling out yesterday about 5 p.m. to eligible insiders. It's been kind of a whirlwind of emotions, I'm sure, for many people. Sending out hundreds of thousands of emails, it turns out, takes a lot of time. There are people as of an hour or two ago, I'm seeing are just now receiving their emails. So
Shit.
I think my message to everyone
I got
is, you know,
mine
not
late. I
everyone
was
will get in
real
this
salty
particular
for a
tech
long
preview on this
time.
flight, and
I was so
we knew that was going to
salty
be the case
because I didn't
because
get one.
we need to incrementally grow. We don't want to. We sort of want to walk before we run, right? But I do want to make sure people know that there will be future opportunities, right? This is not the only tech preview that we've planned between now and launch.
That's correct.
I'm going to
this
be
is
playing
the
this
first
all
and
weekend because
probably
I
the smallest.
I know not just to
So
play
as
it,
we
but I
grow
also want to
and
give
over
like
the
a
coming months, as we put out
I want to
new
give like
builds
a
with additional
a
features,
developer to
they're each
developer
gonna
sort
have a
of
larger and larger
review
audience
as
we
best
test
as I
towards
can
launch.
because
So just really
feel like it's
critically,
my
if you
duty
wanna
to
be a participant
the
in a
community
future
to
tech
do
preview
that.
or flight, please head to haloinsider.com. Anyone can opt in at any point. Make sure your profile is completed.
Show us the
We'd love
shit.
to get
Just
more
show
and
us the
more
shit.
people in for future flights, as Sam mentioned. So, Sam, maybe now
I'm
let's
actually
shift
supposed to be
gears a little
working,
bit. I
so
think
my
one of
brain
the
is like
really
in
cool
work
and
mode
ambitious
right now,
aspects
so I'm
of
all
this
like
project is
developer-y and shit.
kind of the breadth of platforms that we're going to support right now. I mean, we not only is our multiplayer experience free to play, but cross play. I mean, we are really truly going to where our players are, regardless of
Is it on
platform.
Switch?
Yeah, and this tech preview is no exception. We're going to be flighting this tech preview.
I like this guy.
on
He's got a good
all the platforms
he's got a
we
good
intend
vibe.
to,
He's got a good
ship with at
hair
launch.
game and
So you're
beard
going to be
game.
able to play on anything in the Xbox One family, the Series X and Series S, and we're going to be going out to, as I said before, a variety of PC hardware, and all of that's going to be cross-play.
And the PC, by the way, also on Steam, which we know a lot of fans were excited about. I think for the purpose of this tech preview, we're only on Steam for PC, but obviously for launch, that won't be the only means of playing
Oh,
our
interesting.
game. Now, one
Shit.
thing we did want to know,
The
I think, Sam, at a
integrations
high
are
level,
crazy.
safe to
Like
say that
integrating all these
the
platforms.
experience that we're going to put out in this tech
No wonder they're
preview,
doing such a
specifically on
large
each of these
test because there's
platforms,
so
when it comes
much
to like
work.
fidelity and performance. Safe to say that what's in the preview today is not necessarily indicative of our targets when we launch this game.
Yeah, that's correct. So performance is something that we're working on week after week.
I like this
And
stage
as I
dressing.
said
You know,
before,
get
This
those
is a
ammo
build that's
crates
about 2
down.
months old. So we cut this from main 2 months ago to work on it, and a lot of the performance work that goes in
Interesting.
wasn't appropriate to bring over to this branch.
So the
because
name
performance work
branch
can often
main,
create
it used to be
instability.
called
We wanna
master,
keep
so,
this
but they
as
don't
stable
call
as
it master in
possible
software
when we
anymore
launch it
because
to
it's
you
like
all.
a you know
So
because
this
of the
build,
Black Lives
about 2
Matter
months behind in
protests and
terms
things
of
like that,
performance,
and the whole
and obviously
movement.
there's
So
more runway
it's
to
now
go
moved.
before
The
we
name
launch
isn't
later this
master.
year.
It's now
And
main.
I would
So
assume the data we get from this tech
so if it's
preview
cut
will be
from
really
main, they'd
valuable
probably
as
have to
we
build a whole
continue to
new
sort of
UI
make sure we're
around it, a
supporting the
new
widest
menu
breadth
around
of
it,
PC configurations, for example,
which
and
is why it's
really
probably
the
taken
team's
2
goal is
months,
to
and
deliver
obviously
a really
deploying on all
solid,
those platforms like
performant,
Steam
good-looking
and
experience
Xbox as
catered
well.
to every
So
platform that we support.
yeah, so I'm
Exactly.
guessing
Couldn't have
that's
said
why
it
it's
better
taken
myself.
a
So
bit of time.
speaking of that, I know people are eager to see some stuff. It's kind of cool, really, if you think about it. Life to date, we've only ever shown Halo Infinite running on PC, and we're going to do that here live today in a little bit. We're going to show some stuff
Interesting.
off, but this is going to be the first time people can see what the game looks like running on an actual Xbox hardware.
That's really interesting.
So prior to this stream, we were able to put
Maybe
together
an
a little bit
Xbox
of
build
gameplay
wasn't
capture,
ready.
and I'd like to give folks a glimpse.
Oh, I'm going to
at-
predict
this is gonna be
performance
a Halo
issues on
Infinite
Xbox. Some
multiplayer
of the older
match
ones,
recorded,
performance
I believe,
issues.
last week here in the studio, just to give people a sense
I'm
of
stoked
this is the
they made it
game
work
as
on
currently
PC
stands
though.
in this build running on an Xbox One. So I'm going to give a shout out to Joshua here behind the scenes. He's running production for the live stream. Josh, if you want to cue that up, I think people are really eager to see some gameplay. Let's take a look. Let's see how this game's looking currently on Xbox One.
Okay. This gun looks good. So this gun just looks boring. This is it's like a plasma repeater thing from like Reach. Good to see him camping. Like, is this thing good? Oh, it's good at tracking.
So Sam, clearly we're looking at a little Slayer match here on Bazaar, one of our new maps.
Imagine knowing there's like
a lot to take in, I'm
100,000
sure,
people.
for viewers who are just seeing a lot of stuff for the first time
Oh.
here.
Yeah, I can't remember if we've shown things like the
This
pulse color
gunshots
being
feel
used
nice
in
and
those
punchy.
ones. I think it was briefly shown in the multiplayer trailer, and I think this is the first time we've shown first-person view of someone walking around in Bazaar.
Oh,
I
this
think
thing.
it has. We're also right now kind of getting a look at the friend and foe system that we've discussed in some of our
Yeah,
vlogs in the
'cause-
past. This is kind of moving away from
Oh, it looks
forcing
like you can
players
mark
into red and
people
blue.
as well.
Allows us to kind of maintain that unique armor
was that because he
customization that's become
killed-
a greater focal point for Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I actually really
Yeah,
like
and I
that
think
direction.
This is a pretty good example of that, and I think you're really seeing those colors pop out.
Man,
on the
good
Xbox
grenade
One
bouncing, dude.
hardware. It's great.
think I just noticed a custom skin applied to that AR there that we saw briefly.
So yeah, it looks like the guy gets like a blue outline
it,
once he's
unfortunately.
killed you,
I do
unless there's a
love the- oh,
tagging
yeah.
system.
I love the AR skin.
No, sorry, the blue. He's blue team. Sorry,
I think
sorry.
It's
I'm,
kind
not,
of
I'm so used to seeing like red and red.
weapon. It's the one you're gonna see most often, so I like to have mine looking sharp.
Now, internally, from a development and playtest perspective, I mean, obviously we've got the
Oh.
team focusing on all platforms.
No
and all builds,
assassination.
and safe to say that we've got
Interesting.
folks truly getting sweaty on Durango, on Xbox Series X and
Getting
S,
sweaty, dude.
and low, medium, and high PC specs as well, right?
Yeah, so obviously, as I said before, we
Seems to
can't
run
cover
okay on
every
Xbox, man. I'm
PC
not
spec
too.
out there, but we try to have a good range within our testing, and we have folks playing on Xbox Ones regularly, myself included. I try and playtest on Xbox One as much as possible, because it's a really important thing for us to support and make sure it's looking good.
Yeah, it really is awesome that we're able to kind of bring that audience forward with us, right?
I can
mean,
hear a
we
lot
know
of
there's
built-in
obviously
calls
a
as well, like,
large
I just
amount
heard,
of
like,
Xbox One
enemies
players
hurt.
out there, especially as, frankly, some people I think are still eager to acquire a new console, and with some of the supply chain issues that have come around during the pandemic, not necessarily easy for everyone. So, thankfully I'm not one of the engineers. I can't imagine it's necessarily a trivial undertaking to be able to scale so smartly across different
Oh
hardware.
my god, no way.
I gotta say, shaping up
Dude,
super,
good
super
grenades,
nice,
man.
and really
Oh,
looking
I got
forward to getting
hit
some
markers
feedback
as
from
well.
Xbox One players after this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
What just got him?
So I think that's going to wrap up that clip that we have. Now we're going to show a little more gameplay here in a bit. We're gonna
Super
have Tom
interesting.
French, our multiplayer
this looks
associate creative director, join us. We have
Good.
another match from
I'm
Xbox Series X.
it's
that
kind of
we'll
hard
get
to see with
into.
this blurry stream, but
Once
this
this
looks
wraps up, we're
pretty
going to jump
good.
back over to the build, and we're going to look through this real flight build here. By the way, I heard you're a real Needler fan. Is that true?
That is true. I love the Needler. I think it's one of the most unique weapons we have in Halo, and I've loved every expression of it. Hasn't always been the most powerful gun in the game.
Needle
but it's
rifle.
always been interesting to use.
It feels like it shreds in this game, at least in our playtest, right?
Yeah.
It's do not sleep on the Needler this weekend. I'll just say that.
Yeah, especially like against bots, like they don't know how to deal with it. So
Yeah,
it's
you,
real
Yeah,
good.
that's another thing
you
I had.
mentioned
Like,
bots. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
bots-
A
there's
little
like
bit
a
later
bots
in the
in
show
the- bots
today
in this
when Tom
playtest, but
joins us. Why don't we sort of
bots
pivot back
aren't
now to
smart,
the real
and
build,
Halo
which I'm sure
is
people
kind of
are
the
really eager to
stance.
see.
So
And I thought maybe we just kind of help give
don't know, can
our
bots dance?
players who are going to be a part of the tech preview, just kind of give them the lay of the land a little bit, show them what they can expect and what that's going to look like. So Josh, maybe if you want to cut to, we'll go to my feed, I reckon, and we can sort of take a look at our lobby
It's a
space. I
dope
guess.
hoodie.
What is the official term for this space that we're going to feed into? Once Josh is able to kind of hit that switch. There we go. So
okay.
this is it, right? This is our tech preview build. We're
Yeah,
looking
so a
at it
very
right now
lean
live.
menu
this is
as expected. So this would
essentially
have
the
been
menu that you're gonna hit as soon as you boot up. So you can see like the multiplayer and academy options there. If you hit start, you can get into our main settings, and there's a few settings I think we wanna show off.
Let's take a
and
look.
highlight.
I mean, no, I like settings. No one's ever seen these settings in detail before, so we'll kind of take a look here. So
where's bumper
we want to
jumper?
make sure obviously players understand and like first.
I'm
thing you
really
should do if you're
conflicted,
gonna be
like,
in
do I
tech preview
play
this weekend,
with the
probably just kinda
keyboard
get
or,
acclimated, tweak your
you know,
settings to your
controller?
liking,
At the
just make
moment,
sure that things are sort of the
MCC
way you
seems
want
to
them, if you will. So
Be the controller
I think,
because you'll
I'll
auto
just
aim
quickly
and
scroll through. I'm
assist.
not going to
and-
speak to every one of these. I think we'll be here all afternoon, but
But
I think you're going to find
auto
a lot
clamber.
of sort of what you'd expect to find in some
Step
regards.
jump?
Hold the sprint if I want to do that. I can
fuck
kind
is
of
step
really
jump?
dial in my sensitivity and all that. I'm pretty casual, so I kind of tend to just run default in a lot of cases. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Yeah, I think that I've never gotten into all the zoom sensitivity settings.
That's
but
insane.
I'm just worried I would
They're
get,
there.
I
It's a
would get
lot of
myself into a
settings.
state where I would just never land a shot.
Thing is like
again.
that
Who
too.
knows?
Like
Maybe I would
settings aren't
suddenly
hard
sort
to
of
add
evolve
because
to the
the
next level.
parameters are already there. It's just
Now,
a matter
keyboard and
of
mouse players,
adding a
on
flag to actually
PC,
tap into
and
those.
also, I believe console now supports mouse and keyboard as well. Excuse me. A couple things here they might want to look at that's pretty interesting. If we can get down to it, is the fact that triple keybinds. You have a lot of flexibility here in how you want to set up.
Oh
your keys.
wow.
I want to give a shout out, as all the work that happened over the last couple of years to update MCC and bring that to PC, and all the fantastic work by the
Yeah,
pub
that would be
team.
a really good learning experience.
Being able to have triple keybinds was super important to the PC community. That was great feedback that we heard, and that's a good example of just one of taking those learnings and kind of that experience and bringing it over to the Infinite side.
Yeah, I think we owe a great debt to all the work that MCC and the publishing team has done with diving in
Nice.
feet
On the
first
scroll
into
swaps.
the PC environment and getting us ready for this.
You know, I'll hover on this one for a minute because I'm pretty sure I haven't been able to do this before in a game. Have I been able to actually just straight up drop my weapon for a teammate before?
Not that I know of.
Oh, that's
And honestly,
sick.
It's been,
Yeah.
it's been quite fun
It's
to
always
use.
like swap.
Especially when you're playing with like some less experienced players. You can just secure rockets for them and then hand it over to them. You know, they get to play around with a power weapon that they might
That
not
is so
normally have
weird.
done.
So, dare we
How
say
have I
maybe
never
this is
done
the
that
end
before?
of betraying your teammates to take sniper?
Yeah, now you just gotta extort them, I guess.
Possibly. Cool. So, a whole bunch of stuff here. You know, this
Yeah,
is something
dude.
else that we, I think, was mentioned in
Mark.
one of our employee
Yeah, okay.
spotlight blogs. But marking. This is also a new element to Halo games.
Yeah, and I've
Ooh,
actually
I'm not
been
sure
really
how I
happy
feel
with the
about
marking
that.
system.
Like, I like
If you're on
being
PC,
sneaky,
it is
and if I get
super
in a
easy to
conflict, I
mark
like
everyone
trying
you
to
see,
drop
and they get
down and
rewards
sneak
for it.
around
You
and
get
come up
points.
behind someone.
You
So
get
I'm
a
not
mark
sure.
Assist if someone kills someone who you've marked, and stacks with your normal assist points. And I believe there's a medal you can earn
There is.
for marking enough people who get killed.
Maybe it works
So
well in
I'll
this
just kind of scroll through here quickly so we don't
day and age,
totally
but
get
I don't know.
inundated in
I don't-
settings,
I'm
but
not
it just goes
100%
on
sold
and
on
on
that.
and on. So let me go over here to video as well. Something else I just kind of wanted to point out, which by the way, I do not. That is criminal for me to be on a FOV of only 70, but. You know, we heard, I think this has always been something Halo
2080.
fans have wanted. We know, and everyone knows, the FOV really does have a dynamic impact on your experience in terms of not only just your vision, but the sensation of movement and speed. All those things are greatly impacted. So pretty awesome to me that on day one we already have a field of view slider, and this is going to be available on, I think, on multiple platforms. It's not a PC-only feature.
That's correct, yeah.
I mean, what's your preference? I kind of
good to see they're using slightly older hardware too, 'cause I'm on a-
range.
I'm on a
we could go,
1080,
all the
so-
way up to 120 if we really wanted to.
Yeah, I usually like to kick it in 95.
Bird Dog
All right,
NDI1.
well, I'll split the difference. We'll go 95 there. But yeah, just kind of go through here. Lots of different nuanced graphical settings to really allow people to custom
what was the
tailor
frame
based
rate?
on, you know, their own personal
What was
preferences.
the
what's
max
most important
frames?
to them on their PC hardware.
I hope it's
If
more
I
than
didn't mention that,
60.
it's not clear. We are playing on PC here currently, so you know, you will
Everything's
not
on
have
Ultra
the full
as
breadth
well
of
on
all
a
these options
28.
necessarily on every platform. But clearly for PC,
Shader
it
quality
makes
is
the most sense.
low.
I thought this is
Interesting.
pretty cool too, being able to sort of opt in or opt out of something that we call speed lines. So when you're sprinting in the game, we have some cool visual effects that help sort of really convey that sense of
Yeah,
of
turn off
increased
speed lines, man.
But if I don't like it, I can just turn it off.
Yeah, I think the fact that we've got so many settings that are tailored so that you can fully immerse yourself, or if you're looking for a stripped down experience, if you don't want that,
Yeah, this
turn it
is
off.
great. These are great
Same
options.
thing goes, of course, lots of audio customization here. Want to make sure people are aware of like things like
This
subtitles.
makes me
You
happy.
can turn those
This
off
is
and on
great.
if you want to. I did want to call this out as well. I know you and I were talking earlier about this. But
Open mic, yeah,
just a
dude.
little bit of a
Keep
public
it
service
open.
announcement for anyone playing this weekend in the tech preview. By default, currently in this build, your mic is just
Right, let
set
me
to
write a
full
note
open,
of
full
that.
high.
That's
So
really funny.
Some people might like that. Some people may not. Personally, I was kind of caught by surprise when I was saying
Mike.
a bunch of stuff in the game, and I thought it was private.
Open.
So I just wanted to pass that.
He was getting
my learnings
salty
on
and
to
got
you so no one
busted.
gets kinda
That's what
caught maybe
happened.
in a precarious situation there. So yeah, a lot of different options here, including Spartan Chatter. We'll hear a little bit more of that when we
So
roll
yeah,
some footage.
I heard that.
And
That's
then
like
the last thing I
enemies
thought would be kinda
down,
cool
enemies
to
got
really
no
point
shields.
out.
I
We
heard
talked
that
about
just
this a little
before.
bit briefly in some of our blogs, but we have this new system that we're calling Friend and Foe, right? Which, in order to
Salmon.
really support and embrace our goals and our aspirations about leaning more into player expression and having a lot more cool ways to customize your own Spartan and your own Spartan journey.
Yeah, I love
It
this
just didn't
idea. I
really
think this
work
is great.
anymore to force everyone into a default red or
I
blue
would have thought they'd gone
right?
down like the Rocket League route. You know, like
And-
you pick a red team
so
color and you pick a
by
blue team
default,
color.
we
But I guess
have
there's
red and
more
blue
than two
outlines.
teams. So
But
yeah, sorry, I'll
for
take that back.
accessibility
That probably wouldn't
purposes,
work.
We know that various people
Come on,
can't see
Candy,
in
yeah,
certain
bruh.
shades, so we've got a wide array of colors that you can choose for both enemies and friends, and you can also customize the folks in your fire team to be another unique color.
Yeah, it is really flexible, really cool. I also personally being able to sort of, if I want to go old school and display a full gamer tag above.
Oh,
someone's
dude,
head, I can do that.
100%.
It also helps me sometimes when I'm personally just trying to register.
Yeah, I don't
friend
want
info.
like T63,
and
man. I want
then,
like
You know, I should call
John
this out.
is
You'll
here.
see this in the UI menu here. The theater will not be included in the tech preview, so we won't have that experience. The theater is coming back though, so and you know, event timeline is a brand new feature. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you could probably
That's so
surmise what
good.
that might mean.
oh, I
in the
know
context of
exactly
the
what that
theater.
is.
And this is
So
pretty
when you get a
crazy,
kill, it will
weapon
mark it on a
offsets.
timeline.
So
It will sort of mark that
people wanna be
gameplay,
able
and you'll
to
be able
move
to
that
jump
stuff
back
around,
and
I
forward.
guess.
Because at the moment in
Yeah,
theater, you don't
I
get
know,
that.
I know,
So
I know
that
people
is
who like to get,
that is
just
sick.
like
That's
different
my
gameplay
theory. That's what I
experiences,
think it
some old
is.
school games where they have the weapon more centered, or some people like to just push it way off. or so far off that they hit their mic. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
alright,
one
Sam.
of the predominant themes here is
Scruffy
just trying
fucker, I
to give
love you.
players as many options as possible to really dial in the experience. To suit
Man,
their
there's so
personal
many
tastes,
options.
right?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I
Accessibility
mean,
as well. That's great.
It is just a set of menus, but I'm really looking forward to hearing what people think of these settings.
This is great
and
for
the things that
colorblind
they can put
people and
together
things like
to
that as
customize
well.
it to exactly how they want to be. I want Halo to be like the comfiest chair in your house.
I like that. All right, so let's back out of the settings. Something else I think we want to point out to participants in the tech previews to keep an eye on this weekend. The news feed. Wow, this is like next-gen news. No, seriously. This is just good to keep an eye on if you're playing in the tech preview. We will probably use this to convey updates over the course of the flight, critical information. If the playlist experience evolves, we'll let people know through here, right? And I think, Sam, you wanted to specifically call this one out in particular, right?
Yeah, so we've got a notification for people on PC, especially if you're using the AMD GPU. You're going to want to make sure you update to the latest driver.
Is that what it's called?
It is a
Adrenaline?
significant performance
Adrenaline
increase,
21.7.2.
for PC users on AMD GPUs. So please make sure you do that, and make sure you check out the news for that kind of attention announcement.
Awesome. Well, Sam, I think that's all I got for you today. Any final parting words or thoughts before
show
we jump
some-
over and dig into some customization?
Oh yeah,
Now I
sweet.
want to
Okay,
see
sweet.
customization too. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Thank you, Sam. We'll be right back in just a moment. We're going to be joined by Jerry Hook here, and we're going to talk about all the things you can do to customize your Spartan in the tech preview. Be right
Yeah,
back in just a
dude.
moment.
Where you going? Don't be like that.
A new day is upon us.
All right, so I'm already pretty excited. Like a lot of this stuff looks really, really promising. A few questions I have though. I noticed it was no assassinations, so he jumped up behind, and you would expect. Oh, we've got a frozen stream here. You would kind of expect the assassinations to actually be there as well. So like he kind of jumped down on top and yeah, and it didn't do it. So I wonder if that's something that's going to be added later, or is that something that's going to, you know, maybe it just doesn't work gameplay wise. I doubt that, but it is kind of hard to see. It's like even that situation there too. Like I know this has been talked about before, but that's the second time we've seen someone come up behind somebody and not perform the animation. So I'm very curious to see what happens to that. But like, I don't know, it seems like it runs pretty well on Xbox. It's just there's such a big discrepancy between, you know, an old Xbox One from 7 years ago, however old that is, and you know, a PC built in the last 4 years. Like my computer's 4 years old, it would run circles around an Xbox. So hopefully the engine is built in a way that just works well across all of them. And it sounds like all of this footage now that we're seeing, which I wasn't aware of, is actually PC footage. So I think this looks pretty good and actually fits the Halo aesthetic pretty great. And you know, if they can run it on a 2080 Ti, which we just saw then maybe, you know, maybe it's not going to be too bad. So yeah, very interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff there. But I'm excited nonetheless. So let's see what they come back with for this customization. I'm guessing they'll take a little break because I'd be shitting myself too if there was 100 million thousand people watching or whatever.
Now, show me what you can do.
Also, I got super salty last night because I didn't get access to the flights, and I actually got my email this morning, and I was very, very happy about it. So hopefully it makes the footage, and I'm gonna see if we can assassinate, because that's, I don't know, that's been a Halo for a long time. It's super important.
And we're back. All right. Thanks,
All right.
everyone. We are back now. This is our
Sketchy.
Halo
living
Infinite
up to
Tech
his name.
preview live stream here at 343
The
Industries in Redmond,
preview.
Washington. My next guest has just sat down next to me. Please welcome Jerry Hook. Jerry, head of
Hooka.
design. Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Really looking forward to this. It's very exciting, and we're doing it live. Like,
This is
could
live.
not be more nerve-wracking
Hey,
than
what?
doing it live.
Just, I probably have like 5 people watching. No pressure, no stress.
Not
I
a
mean,
big deal.
it's just between us, right?
Yeah,
We're just playing some Halo, talking about
That's
Halo.
good. That's a good way.
So Jerry,
Sketch
I
is
think,
good,
You're
man. I
going
like
to join us
Sketch.
today. We're going to talk a little bit about sort of the player progression, customization side of the game, things that kind of fall under our live team umbrella. Kind of from your perspective through that lens, what are you and the team looking for? What are your kind of high-level goals? What does this tech preview mean to you?
Yeah, well, first let's really talk about what a live game means to us. Like, we have so much coming into Halo that we've never had before. We're on more platforms. We're on PC.
That's the big one.
We're free to play for the first time. So that means a lot, and that has a lot of changes that go.
I'm
into
curious,
the
how are they
fundamentals.
going to do?
Part of what
do
I
us
do
do
is
dirtier,
design
do
and
us
help make
dirtier
sure
with these
that everyone has
customizations.
their best work show up in the
They're going to
game.
lock Defender
And
helmet, aren't they?
The base fundamentals we use, we have some pillars that we're using to help make sure that our players get the best experience possible.
I hope
The
Fred's in
first
this
one
game too, man.
of those pillars is player first. And you see that primarily represented in some of our attributes, specifically that, hey, look, the time and the money that you're investing in our title are extremely important. They're job one for us. That's why you see us move the battle pass
Just
to
checking the
allowing us
quality
to have
there.
that battle pass be switched, and then players aren't feeling the 100% FOMO to, I got to get it now, right? That's a player first model. The other player first model that we're looking for is that our experiences, we want to delight, and we want to have those experiences, grow as we
Yeah,
move
I wonder
forward.
how this is going to
The
work,
delight's
because
pretty key there, because we don't want to fall
the
into
kids
some
are all
of the
about
traps that you
Fortnite
see with other
dances and
free-to-play
like
games
ridiculous
where
skins.
they
So
just
Halo's
add,
always
chores, or they
kind
just
of push
add
those
things that aren't really
design
delighting the
boundaries a
player,
little
but the
bit, so
player
we'll
has to
see
get
how-
through. And so these mentalities
see how that
change
goes.
fundamentally what we're doing from a Halo perspective. Next big pillar is we want to listen, we want to learn, and we want to experiment with all of you as players. And this is critical. Like, Sketch, you're such a critical piece of this, of listening to the community, and it's everyone out there
He's
right
putting the
now
pressure on
screaming
Sketch
about
now.
Assassinations and screaming about Sprint and everything else, that all the various community members, they want to have a voice in the hobby that they love. And we're hoping to bring that to you, and working with
That's
you
the
and
thing
your
too.
team,
They
Sketch
can't put
and Unity,
everything in
and,
the game because something just
as
won't
well as,
work.
when you
So
look at Tashin, you look at our
this is one thing
esports
that promises the Halo community
all
is
of them
that
have voices that we want to make sure that
someone's
going to
be upset somewhere,
into our
and it's
experiences.
just a matter of making a good
Next
game and
pillar
hoping
off of
people
that
fall in love with
is
it. I mean, I think
the story doesn't end with Master Chief. The story is actually your story as well, and our story is going to grow even in the multiplayer side. This is pretty
Interesting.
critical when you take a look at what Tom French and
So I
the
wonder
team
if you're
have
like a
done with
sidekick or
Academy and
something.
all the other stories that they're bringing to play. That's your story in our universe, and we want to make sure that you have a story that continues with you. And then lastly is just for the team. You see so many stories of game development teams being burned out and burned to a crisp, and we want to make sure that our core pillar of, we want to be able to build a sustainable and predictable a game for all of you. And that's really, really critical, because if the team isn't there and the team isn't supporting all of the experiences we want to bring to you, then you won't have
Interesting.
those experiences.
Sounds
And
like
so we
they're
have to
looking
do it
after
in a
their
very
staff
predictable
now.
fashion. The other thing,
So
from a
game
player
development's
first
notorious
perspective,
for
our
not looking
players should
after
be
their
able to
stuff.
trust
So
us
that's
that when
very
we say, hey,
interesting
we're
to
gonna
hear
go
as well.
after, I've seen like the lists on Reddit and whatnot, right? And those lists are huge, right? And we obviously can't solve all of them on day one. In our launch, we're going to launch, and we know that we probably made some mistakes that you're not going to like from all of you, and we're going to need to correct some of those. And some of those you're like, hey, can you make it bigger? We want to go after those as well. So that's
Man,
all
this is
pretty
so
critical.
late in development though.
And so
Like,
in this tech preview, which isn't a beta, is we're testing the
like-
technical side of it. And so you purchase everything. If you're in the
We're like
technical,
4 months
the
off.
technical preview, just go purchase everything. We need to test
because they
all
still
of our
may print
services
physical
and
copies
connecting
as
with
well, and that
our
process
commerce
takes a
engines
while.
and
So
our commerce services.
I'm like
And,
super
Joaquin and
skeptical
our
on this
service
release
team are
date.
just- man, they're on point. They're amazing, and we just need to make sure that all the technology works. But we will have some customization.
That's super late, man.
And it's definitely not a full customization at all of what'll be in the launch product. But that customization is going to help.
I'm excited
at
for
least
this. This is the
help
shit.
us understand what's important to you from the small subset that we're giving you to play with.
Well, I think we should take a look at some of that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Speaking about my custom Spartans, I did want to just clarify one point. You're talking about spend as much as you can.
I did a tier
buy
list
everything.
Yeah.
recently
Just to
with
clarify, everyone
all
invited
the
to this
helmets
tech
with a
preview
couple
will
of
be
members of the
granted,
405th. So
a bunch of
405th, we
credits.
actually
So
make this
we're not
armor.
asking anyone to spend
Everyone
your
got
real
super
money,
salty.
so
I knew I was
no,
going to
not
have
at
it.
all.
So
we won't even take your money. There's no way to do that. So,
Yeah.
but we're going to give
That was
you
kind of
our
the point of
money
a tier
and ask you
list, is to
spend
get
and just
everyone
go have fun.
arguing.
Yeah.
So,
and remember, prices
got a lot of hate.
none
Never
of
had
that
so
is
much
final.
dislike in a
We're just
video.
trying to
It was
get,
pretty
some
pretty
semblance of
good.
differences, so you as players would know.
Everyone got
what,
salty
what's-
'cause I
what's
said
better
that
value, what's its lower value.
Well, let's go back into the
I said
build
that
here,
ODST
Josh.
was
I guess we'll go
shit
to my
in
screen, if
this
you will. And
game,
I'm going
and
to
it
go
looked
into the
crap 'cause it was like a
customized,
pinky
the
shit
customized
one.
menu here up at the top.
Oh, here we
Here, I
go.
thought we might just kind of run through a few of these things, and then we'll kind of just navigate through the world of customization as it exists in this build, which, as you already noted, is just a subset of what we can expect to find in the shipping game. So I think we'll just go down the list here. People are probably very eager, I assume. They've never seen this. By the way, I do like this idle animation. You let it sit and it just kind of cycles through some really cool
Man, that's really
3D
nice.
assets,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
just,
the
it's nice.
cool. The other cool thing is like you just
Super
hop into
simple menus as
customization.
well.
You already know we're doing a lot more, and you know it's great to hear Sam and you notice some of the customization that's going on with bots and in your own hands with, you know, with your AR. That's all in the game for people to play with.
All right, well, let's start by
Love
going
his
into
name,
Armor Hall. And
2
I'm
dev,
just going to kind of quickly
444,
move through here, and then we'll,
859
we'll kind of bounce
support.
around.
Someone
like
take
you
that
and I
game,
discussed.
Isaac.
So Armor Hall, pretty self-explanatory. This is where I'm going to customize my Spartan's armor, right? So right away, here we go. Now
Rear
for this
armor
tech
core.
preview, because it's a subset, I'm going to have one armor core, and that's going to be my Mark 7 armor core. And you know, Jerry, you and I have discussed this a little bit. Just there's been a lot of questions, I think, in the community since we first started talking about armor cores, right? And we've demonstrated this and sort of showed it off in our old overview video and some prior
What does that
vlogs.
mean?
So how would you sort of best describe, like, what is an armor core and sort of how should we think about that?
Yeah, so this is one of our new
So you could do like a Mark
Christopher
5
Baum
and have classic Halo?
Jeremy have done a really great job here creating this system. You know, one of the things when we stepped back in design, we wanted to rethink how do we help make sure that our players are really represented as characters. And when you take a look at Spartan armor, it's like strapping on an F-22, or maybe you want a set of armor that is like an M1 Abrams tank, right? Each one of those vehicles is unique and has a unique character. The other great thing about that, the thing we're trying to build is we're trying to make sure that the character of that armor really comes through. There's really no better way to show this than, hey, Josh, you have one of the pictures, one of the concept pictures? Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's get
So
old Freddy
everyone
in
saw
here.
at the end of that amazing multiplayer trailer the samurai armor. When we
Just,
talk
this
about
is
strapping on a
rubbing
piece
for
of
good
armor
luck.
as a unique character,
I don't like
think,
this armor.
I think our first fracture core, and that's we call these fractures because they're not part of the main canon. They're part of basically side universes that you can.
That is so
You
weeby,
can look
dude.
at how we're trying to develop the character, and our artists have done an amazing
So
job
side.
of really trying
Side
to
lore.
represent the breadth of what we want to.
See, I reckon that opens them up for, like,
throughout the entire
working with
armor
other
set.
companies
and more
and, like,
importantly,
bringing in
allowing
armor
that
from
customization
other
and
franchises.
you as a
That's
player
what
saying,
I-
"Hey, look, when I
I
strap
guess.
on that armor, you know, that samurai armor tank, I want to make sure that I can make it mine." And this is the breadth in which we can really express.
Just bring this helmet.
But stay
Bring-
within the character. We
bring
don't want
Fred.
everyone to
Bring
feel
Fred.
like they're just all one part of a single vehicle, basically. And so then you can look at what the artists have been able to think about, and you take a look at the attachments that you're seeing there. You're seeing swords. You're seeing, you know, a bandolier. You're seeing grenades. You're seeing different hip pieces. You're seeing daggers. You're seeing darts. You're seeing whole different expression of what a samurai could look like. And that's pretty critical for us to help, at least in this first impression and our first moment for everyone at launch. Because remember, at a live game perspective, we are expecting everyone to provide feedback, what works, what doesn't work, what do you want to see more, and that's where the game will grow as we move forward.
Yeah, this is
You can go
awesome,
back,
by the
Josh.
way. I'm super excited by the Yoroi Samurai in particular, which, by the way, we've also confirmed will be one of the first free pieces of content that players
I love
can
the little
earn in
decals on the
season one
weapon.
by just completing a free event, which is
Yeah,
very cool.
absolutely. And again, that type
Okay,
of completion where
that's
just
it.
playing the game and earning things is still a part of not only our DNA, but again, from a free
I like how the Spartan's just leaning over, checking out his shit.
multiple avenues, not just the battle pass.
classic
but you have different
VR.
ways, and we'll show that as we go forward. Different ways in which you can earn things.
The Commando
Yeah,
looks
right
sick
now
as
I'm
well.
just kind of cycling
Classic
through the weapon
Spanker.
bench just to give
Yeah.
give our viewers a sense of what that looks like. So
Or
if
the
I were to
Spunker.
equip weapon coatings, I could check them out here.
the Halo 4
I'm just
sniper,
sort of
there's
scrolling
the
through, giving people a
Bulldog.
chance to see some of the
Hydra.
weapons that
I haven't seen that
we
yet.
have in the game.
I know it was
currently that they'll
confirmed,
be able to
though.
check out. So I
Yeah,
really
and
love this feature.
This is so sweet because every time you pick up a weapon, right, you take it off the weapon pad, it is your weapon, and it'll be skinned the way you want it to. It'll look the way you want it to. It is just a sweet feeling.
Let's quickly jump into vehicle bay.
Didn't show too much
quick
there.
caveat here is none of the experiences in this tech preview build will let you
Need for Speed
drive
Underground.
vehicles this time around. But of course, vehicles are an integral part of our sandbox, huge part of the experience, especially with the return of big team battle.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to that a little bit later this year. But I'll just kind of give people a quick glimpse
Mongoose.
here of some of the
Oh,
updated
yeah, dude.
models.
Scorpion
some of these
looks
things we're seeing
beefy.
for the first time, I believe.
Yeah, and again, for what we're
Wasp.
showing here from
Nice.
a customization perspective, you make this you. So you
Oh,
get to
there's
say,
the
hey,
race.
look,
It's
no,
got
when I
tinted
drive my
windscreen,
Warthog, or
dude.
when I get
That's
on my
bling.
Razorback with my team, I'm the driver.
What? Oh, the
I get
gun
into it
goose. I
first.
forgot
It's
about
gonna
you.
look the way that
Sick.
that I want it to look
Looks
like.
good.
And so as you continue to play and you're in the community, you're going to have different looks from players.
So Rocket
and
Hog's got,
everyone will
like,
know,
is that default
like,
skin,
it is
I
you
guess?
in the driver's seat.
All right, then I'm going to
Oh,
jump down
here
one
we
more
go.
real quick here in the body and AI. This one, we obviously have a couple
Yeah,
different body
fat
types I can
Spartan,
choose
dude.
from.
Fat
I'm
Spartan.
I really love actually the depth that we've been able to go to now for prosthetics, right? Just an
Yeah, dude,
additional
give me some
layer of
robot.
customization and
Full-blown
frankly,
paraplegic,
inclusivity as
man.
well.
Do it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the
Quadriplegic.
biggest thing is just about, from a philosophy perspective for player first is we want everyone to be able to represent themselves.
Dude, I'm
you know,
not-
my sister
I'm gonna be-
actually does build prosthetics for a living.
I'm gonna be
and this
fully,
is
like,
very important
robotic,
because
man.
It's a part of your identity. It's also, quite frankly, some
Look
of
at
it's
that
really
signature
cool.
too. You'd be
And
so
again, we're
narrow.
only
You'd
showing
be
a
so
very
hard to
small
see.
subset, so don't get lost
Go
in
full
that.
anorexic.
But the
You're gonna be
sheer fact that
anorexic
you can
and
do
quadriplegic,
your
so you
entire
can't be
body the way
hit.
you want to from a
Hitbox is
prosthetic
the same,
perspective,
but,
and really make this your identity is
AI
really,
model.
really critical for us.
So personal AI is another new addition to the game. We introduced this. People heard some personal AI in the MP trailer, for example.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there that became instant fans of Lumu, for example.
Oh,
and I
sick.
think, we'll talk more about this.
Oh,
probably with
man,
Tom
that's
French in a
gonna be-
bit, and we'll see it in
there's
action
gonna be
in some
so
of our
many
additional
of
footage.
those.
But this is just a subset, right? So
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
dude, I want the
And it's
little,
also just the
I want the little
beginning.
pyramid boy.
Like,
He's
this
pretty
is
sick.
this is the biggest thing. We have so many things in which you can really express yourself, the way you want to.
That is cool.
And even your AI sidekick, it's yours to express. Like, it's yours to make yours. And I think the cool thing is that when you see Tom talk about it, and you see the modes you're going to use it in,
The butler.
it really becomes a part of the personality that you bring to the field.
Yeah, and each AI here, for example, has their own unique voice, their own unique personality. It's really fun, and then you can go one step further if you want to.
Yeah,
actually
dude.
add in,
Cyan,
a subset
magenta.
of colors as well. So
Yeah.
personal AIs are one of my favorite additions to the game currently, and I can't wait for players to experience more of that.
That's cool.
And then we have one more grayed out area here, and this is where I'd be able to do stuff like my service tag and emblem, and I think you've alluded to. There's more coming than
more
what's in
coming.
this build, so we want
Yeah.
people to stay tuned.
Yeah, people need to
Now I
understand this
think,
is looks
let's
very
quickly-
stripped
I want
down.
to keep things moving here because I know
Sure.
folks are eager. We got a lot to get through. How about you want to jump over to the battle pass?
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe we'll switch. Josh, why don't we jump over to Jerry? He'll drive us through, and let's just talk a little bit about what we're designating the Season 0 battle pass, and sort of what that's going to
What
be
are
for
the stuff will
players
carry
in this
over from
technical
pre-flight?
preview.
That'd be pretty rude,
Yeah,
though.
so when
for
we take a
people
look
that
at
didn't get in.
ourselves learning as a team, the reason why we want to do Season 0 is, like the rest of our live experience, our team needs to build the muscle of listening to the players, of providing fixes, really going through, even veteran people who've worked on games, game developers. When they go through a service, every game is different, every team is different, and it takes a lot of.
I'm very
muscle
curious how this is
building
going to work. I
really
think this
get the
is
rhythm for your
this is
teams
kind of
to be able
the
to
this
add
is
to
where
the game.
3 for
And
3 is
what
going
we
to be
hope to
making
hear
a lot of
from
their
on the
money.
technical
So it'd be good
preview
to see what
side is,
their
again, what's working for you, what's
model
not
is.
working for you, what don't you like. Remember, the build is old, so don't treat it as if it's final at all. So as we go into these
They
details,
keep stressing that, and this is
just
going to be
remember,
broken.
just
There's
send
shit
us-
people aren't
send
going
us
to
your
like. That's the
feedback.
whole
Give
point
us
of
the
this
details
test.
that you want to see or improve on. And we won't, again, because we're a few
Okay, so
months
still
from
got the
launch, we won't
challenges
necessarily be able
back.
to fix everything for launch, but we'll start adding lists together. First thing I want to talk about from a battle pass perspective is our challenges. Our challenge system is the cornerstone. It is the underlying thing in which we go. Now, everyone's familiar with these. We've done a little bit different. This is where you start seeing the first rewards that you get outside of the pass. So we know, right? Games are a bit different today than they were back in the day. In fact, back in the day, most people only had 2 to 3 games a year that they even looked at. Today, I bet you most of your Steam libraries are much larger than that. And that means players are going from Sea of Thieves, or they're jumping over to Age of Empires, and then they're coming into Halo as well.
I like the
And
way
we
they
wanna
only
make sure that when you sit
mention
down,
Microsoft.
You don't have to absorb an
built
entire
products.
battle pass to say,
Pretty
what are my
smart.
rewards? You can
Or,
literally
you
just
know,
come in, what are the challenges?
keep
I'm
it in
going to
the
go play
family.
my games with my friends, and I'm going to get rewarded for it. That's pretty critical.
They weren't
for
going to
us
say
from a player
Fortnite there, or they weren't
first
going to say
perspective. And then, of
Call
course,
of
you're going to
Duty.
get people like me. I'm going to sometimes get sniper challenges. Now, I'm not Clutch in any way, shape, or form, or Micwin, or any other pro team.
Oh, don't be like that.
I will skip that challenge. So I'll definitely probably swap that.
Oh,
for sure.
that's so good.
And I'll want to make sure that I don't have to do that because I'm not good at it.
Yeah,
all.
like I'm not going to play like
So let's look at the battle pass. So we're going to buy this.
I'm not going to play
Is that what
like
we're gonna do?
fucking
Yeah, we granted you.
rock
you're
and
just
rail,
like
dude.
A real tech preview
All right, so
participant.
this-
We have given you some money, Jerry.
All right, good. I get paid today. Sweet. All
So
right,
you buy a battle pass.
sweet. Got the pass.
And the credits
ready to
are what kind of currency is
So-
that?
As you can see, I bought it, so now you can't see the free labels.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So the
yeah,
challenge.
well, you're
slot.
right. What we're not seeing is a smattering of objects in this pass are free, right? So
Correct.
even if someone doesn't want to opt into the optional pass in the real game,
Oh,
there
you
will
have to
still be
pay
free
for
track
a
and things along
challenge
those
slot.
Yeah,
Swap.
the main thing you think of from a model that we have is every tier there's a free item and a premium item.
So I'm guessing
And
those
that
weird,
means
that
every
skin
single player,
changing,
instead
those
of
weird
having,
little circle
you know,
ball,
most systems,
the ball with the
you
colors
have
around it.
large swaths of the tiers that aren't earned unless you're premium. For
It's
us,
very
we
similar
want
to
you earn
MCC.
every step of the
Just
way.
kind of presented slightly
And
different.
for the preview,
Yeah, so those are
we're only
colors.
having 30 level or 20 levels. Sorry.
Oh,
20
there's
levels in
that
the
ugly
preview,
recon.
to
Fuck.
be able to go after. And so, obviously, at launch, we'll have much larger.
wonder
We're
if you
not
can
gonna
take
talk
those
about that
pieces
too
off of
much,
it.
But the great thing you're seeing here is you're seeing customization all along the way.
Not a fan of that
Do
helmet
you want to
either.
go to yours?
Yeah, we
And
can.
we'll-
That
yeah,
looks
why-
way
Josh,
worse
you want
from
to jump
that
back over
angle.
to mine because I had some development cheats enabled, so I've got everything already unlocked.
What are those
oh,
cheats?
Actually, Josh, switch back over to my feed there. There we go. So now that we have that context, Jerry, of
Yeah.
kind of sort of where this content's going to come from, I'm back in the armor hall. I've just kind of drilled now into this. This is what
Tell
happens
me you
if
can
I
take the
click in
faceplate
on
off
my
that recon
core, right?
thing.
So
Yeah.
this is, we don't need to go through all this. I know folks are probably eager to see some more gameplay. We want to talk about bots and arena as well, but you know, this is where I would apply my coatings, for example.
Yeah,
Some of
those
the
are
coatings I'm
amazing.
gonna
Holy
earn.
shit.
You saw the Keystone coating as a challenge reward, for example. So this is just a taste of kind of what I'll be able to do. I can't wait
Go
to see how
into
players
the-
in the tech preview. I would hope a lot of people are probably going to easily hit tier 20 and max out.
Yeah,
If not,
that's our hope.
what are you doing? You've had this long to prepare. Like, come on, you've waited for this. We
should
need
just
you.
be
Not a fan of that
Go
helmet.
crazy. But yes, this is just to give you an idea. As
Yeah,
I
dude.
unlock my content for the core, this is where I'm going to go in and be able to.
I basically want my
customize
guy to
that.
be like
Yeah.
And I mentioned this to you the other day.
a
but
real
fun fact,
bulky
someone
torso
pointed
and
out to
just
me
tiny
that
little stick
if you want
arms.
to, I think for the first time in a Halo game, you can have no shoulder pads. Which,
Correct.
hey,
I
if
thought you could
that's
do
your-
that in
if that's
Reach.
your fancy, go for it. So lots of
Or was
different
like a
options here. And,
default.
Yeah, and this is like you're not seeing things in here like armor effects or other categories that we have listed here. For the tech preview, it's really small, and so we tried to keep it basically the baseline pieces.
Very
actually,
sick.
let's talk about armor kit for a little bit. That's
yeah,
a
yeah. What is
brand new
yeah? Because
concept.
I don't think this is really
So
fully supported in this build. Though.
yeah, so when we talk about
we're
from
not
a
gonna have
killer
this yet.
perspective of continuing the story.
Oh, I'm going to
the
email
armor
my work
kit
and say I'm
kinda
going to be a little bit
represents
late.
bunch of that story. And so when you see the season, and when we say story, we mean the continuing story of the universe from after you, when you're in campaign as Master Chief. What are the rest of the Spartans doing? You are a Spartan, and so your story belongs here too. But it's also a place in which you can show iconic characters.
This is
within
raw.
the
This
Halo
is
universe.
live.
And so a kit, for example, you might get, I don't know, George or Emil, and that is an entire kit unto itself. And so you want to you actually want to go fly the, do your battles on the battlefield like George. That's where you would go to get that kit.
Well, Jerry, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
there's
this
still
looks-
a ton of fun content in here for insiders.
And they're going to
this
keep building
weekend
this
to
out too, because
experiment
this is
with,
that's their
unlock,
money
explore.
maker. So that's why
I do
they've
want to
kind of
just
made it.
reiterate as well.
super
We've said this
customizable.
prior, but this is just a test, so nothing that people buy or unlock during this will carry over to the final game. We're going to wipe the slate
Good,
clean.
good.
And as Jerry noted, just we're looking for your feedback. We'll have information on Waypoint, by the way, as well as in your flight invitation that lets you know where to go and how to give that feedback. And the team wanted me to also just give a shout out and let people know that a lot of polish work is still happening. So, everything from how things look and are presented, we're not done yet. So, I want to make sure we're giving credit to all of our work that's still being done and will continue
teams
up until launch this holiday. Jerry, any final parting thoughts
Launch
or
this
words
holiday,
you want
there's
to
no
leave to us
way.
before we jump over and bring Tom in?
No, I mean, enjoy your time. And, as you said, Sketch, this is a few months
called him
old,
Sketch. It's really strange.
And we have a long way to go from where we're at actually today and what you're seeing.
Yes,
but please go test every button, play everything so that we
I'm
going
to
to
break you
have
out.
the tech
Let's
ready for you.
challenge. Can
when
we
we
break
launch.
Infinite?
Awesome. Well, cool. Thanks again, Jerry.
Absolutely.
Happy to have you here. We're going to take in one more quick break. We're going to bring in Tom French and the multiplayer team. We're going to talk about some bots. We're going to jump in, do a weapon drill or two, and talk about the Academy. And then we'll take a look at a match that we recorded on Xbox Series X. We'll be back in just a moment.
I reckon these bots are going to be dumb.
A new day is upon us.
Yeah, so
A new generation
heaps of exciting stuff
to
here.
fight.
Customization,
Together, we are
as I said, it's kind of at this stage, it's kind of looks pretty lean. We know from previous games, the customization has always been pretty next level, and you can already see those features are coming through. And as I said, this is how they will be making money. This is how all games make money. It's software as a service. You play the game and you have unlocks, and you play those unlocks and you buy cosmetics, and that's the model they're going for, which is great. I think it's needed. So yeah, as I said, I'm very interested to see. I'm very excited to play this weekend. But yeah, we'll see how it all goes. Oh yeah, that thing was sick. So personal AI is pretty cool. I think eventually they're going to be adding. They'll probably collaborate with other people. We've seen Halo and Fortnite. What's stopping Fortnite connecting with Halo? That sort of shit as well. But yeah, pretty hype, to be honest. So we're also going to see AI coming up. I always thought that AI wouldn't work so well it wouldn't work super well in Halo, just because it's a lot more vertical. It's almost like a three-dimensional game versus a two-dimensional game. You think of Call of Duty. I know people argue this. The Call of Duty is very on the ground. You're in a 2D plane. You have your set paths, and you kind of, an AI just has to look and shoot. Whereas in Halo, if you get into a conflict with somebody, there's this dance happens where it's, I need to hide around the corner and charge my plasma pistol, or I need this rocket launcher, I need to run over there and pick it up to combat this weapon. It's sort of like a big dance, paper, scissors, rock sort of thing. I just can't imagine AI doing that. Not to mention the paths, the sort of paths that characters take in, people have taken Halo is, you might jump over a fence, you might crouch around a corner and hide somewhere, just things like that I don't think a bot would. We're a long way off bots doing that, so
Okay,
very
welcome back
curious
again
to
after
see.
that brief break. This is still our Halo Infinite Tech Preview live stream here from Redmond, Washington. I'm Sketch, and now I want to welcome Tom French. Tom, welcome, Associate Creative Director for Multiplayer.
Scruffy
How are you?
bugger.
It's wonderful to be in this room again. I've
What?
missed being in this space, so it's good to kind of just hang out. I kind of want to give you a big hug.
I
right
know,
now.
right?
It's wonderful.
This is the closest, this whole process, I haven't come this close to human beings in a long time,
Yeah,
it
it's a
feels
little
like.
weird. It's a little weird.
Well, it's good to have you here.
Thanks,
I feel like
sir.
this has literally been years in the making, safe to say.
Yes, that is very safe to say.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about multiplayer, which is obviously sort of the key focus for the tech preview. So much like I've talked to Sam and Jerry about, thought we might just open up with kind of giving you a chance to, from your perspective and your team, how are you thinking about the tech preview? Kind of what are your goals? What would you like our audience to know from your side of things?
Yeah, I think Jerry and Sam kind of hit a lot of it on the head. Really, the focus isn't about kind of fair, balanced arena starts. It's really about a tech preview. We need to get a lot of data. There's a lot of PC data we need to do. Now that we're not just single console focus, there's a lot of information we need to really strengthen up our back end before we
Such a
launch this game.
massive task.
Really just make sure everything's strong for the fans when we go live.
Yeah, and a lot of work obviously still happening. We've kind of covered that. Now, I think we've got safe to say we have sort of two signature content sort of buckets, features, if you will, of this tech preview, right? We've got an Academy experience, which I think we're going to talk about here first, and then we're going to move on to bots from that. So let's start by the Academy. We teased this a little bit. I think folks learned about it for the first time in our overview video last month. So from your perspective, what's the Academy all about? Where did it come from? What's the idea behind it?
I'm really proud of the Academy concept. Like when we started the journey to, what was going to become Halo Infinite, we needed.
I like his beard.
I
It's
don't know
like
if you know
shaven,
this,
but
when you
then
go play
long
multiplayer,
in the
it's
middle, like
intimidating
some
to a
sort
lot
of weird
people.
elf.
And so we needed to kind of create a ramp for how players get there and kind of smooth that out along the way. And so we thought about like, what are the obstacles that players have to do? And so the Academy is broken into like 3 core parts and then kind of a 4th extension to that. But the first part is a tutorial where we teach you the fundamentals of the game. We'll introduce you to the kind of the canon around the MP Spartan and what is the player Spartan's purpose in the greater universe.
Yeah,
And
it's
then the
kinda-
next step after that, we have weapon drills, which we'll get to play with and talk about today, which is cool. And those are really about kind of just giving you a chance to put your hands on a gun in very simple settings, really just kind of mono-focused, right? And just really focus on how that gun performs and learn. And there's different skill levels, which we'll get to see a little bit. And then the third part is the what we call the training mode, which lets you play arena matches, basically, arena slayer inside of all of our arena maps. And lets you run around and you can configure the difficulty of the bots, you can configure your loadouts, you can configure, I don't know, there's just a bunch of tuning knobs to let you really kind of soften the experience. And then the next step I would say beyond that is once you kind of get comfortable in there is we have 4v bot matches. So we have 4 players. Halo's a team-centric game. And so we want players to learn how to play together kind of first and foremost, and you do that against bots before they kind of go.
I must admit, I've been
headshots
playing
across the map.
MCC
You
Slayer
mentioned
without
weapon drills, which is
other
the
people on my
sort of
team
the
a
slice
little
of
bit
the
lately, and
Academy
that
we're
has just
including
been
in
a-
the tech preview today.
It's
I
hard.
think we should jump
You know,
into
you can get the
weapon
kills
drill
and you
or
can
two.
rake
I'm
'em up,
sure
but-
our viewers would love to check that out firsthand. I mean, Tom,
Yeah,
if you're
dude,
willing,
without
I
having
may
those
put you on the
comps, it's
spot
pretty
here.
hard.
I mean,
You can see how much I suck
I can
with
embarrass
a bunch of the
myself.
guns.
I mean, you know what?
Why don't we trade off?
Why don't we each do it,
All right,
right? So I'm happy to go first, Josh. If you want to jump back over to my POV here, I've already kind of jumped into the Academy menu. I'm presented with an option for weapon drills. I did want to point out this is not the entirety of our sandbox.
Oh, here we
right?
go.
This is
What's
a-
in the flight?
It's
The
a
Ravager.
slice, right? So I would expect more weapon drills. So,
The Skewer
I
and the
think-
Ravager.
I don't know
Oh,
like
the
what
heat
fans would
wave,
be
that's
most
what it's
interested in
called.
Seeing, I'm going to guess they probably don't need to see an AR
Heat
weapon
wave,
drill, right? So
yes.
this is something a little more exotic. Now, this is I might
Fuck
do
the
this 'cause
Commando,
this is
dude.
one of my personal favorite new additions to
Fuck
the
the
game.
Commando.
This
Let's
thing
see
is a
this heat
beast.
wave, dude.
It sounds awesome. It feels awesome. And real quick, Tom, how would you want viewers to
heat
understand sort of?
wave.
I got 3 options here
Yep.
for my weapon
Sounds
drill.
like a
So there's 3
Borderlands
tiers of
weapon or
weapon drills,
something.
and the basic one is static bots, and they'll just stand there, kind of just let you get the hands on the gun, right? Shoot the basic targets, and we'll score you on your performance and kind of give you a grade so you understand how well you're using with that gun. The next tier, they're kind of on more just like kind of simple paths or crouching behind cover and things like that to kind of show you how to use the weapon, get you to move to that next tier of how do you track a target across the screen. And then the third tier is more, they actually are doing combat behaviors. They're not firing back at you, but they're running around and they're ducking and they're a lot less predictable. And so they're kind of harder to track. They're kind of using more of the actual bot behaviors and mentality. So
I guess I'll split the difference and go. I'll go like a tier 2 here,
Okay,
right?
okay.
I mean, don't judge.
let's see how you score.
Don't judge.
All right.
There's a
I
lot of
probably
pressure here, and I mean, safe to say there's been a lot of internal trash talking as well, right?
Yeah, we trash talk a lot, especially about scores. Like, I mean, we're a competitive team at our core, so that's what you have to do.
And speaking of too, I think there is a cool. Not only is this a
wonder if we can
learning
use the
module
menu while the
in a
loading
lot
is
of ways,
happening.
but there is a
Oh, a bit
competitive
of pop
angle
in
to
there.
it, and I think safe to say down the road the team's thinking about possibility of things like leaderboards and kind of how do we really bring that gamification competitive element to
This
this.
radar
that
looks
was something
interesting
that we really
too.
wanted in the core design, and just it just
What's
didn't
that arrow
fit
on
into
the radar
schedule,
on the
so we're
right-
just
on
building
the
this-
right-hand
this
side?
kind
Is
of
that
as a
north, I
platform for how
guess?
we can add more over time.
Okay, here we go. Not doing good.
Yeah,
By the
there's
way,
the
that's something our
shields.
fans noticed right there. We have damage per sort of location-specific visual indicators on damage, right?
Yeah, it's really helpful, right? It really helps just that pop where you're hitting.
Look at
the
that.
target.
I choked right there. Now, are you a feather the trigger person?
See, I'm
with
not
this
like, I
weapon,
don't
or
like
do you
this.
just
I
sort
think
of
I
pray and
prefer the
spray?
I'll just be
DMR to
honest,
this.
I'm hot
Unless you
shot
can
it.
single shot this.
That's first and foremost my problem. I'm trying to get better with it. I kind of use it as like an automatic, but when I'm kind of at range, I'll switch to kind of the feathering.
Oh,
the
no.
trigger. Oh man, my pillar got in your way.
That was not a great
It wasn't
performance.
terrible.
2-star. I
It
mean,
wasn't terrible.
I think there is a bonus for like a quick reaction, right? Like if I were to quickly zoom in on a target right when it appears, I think I might get an extra.
I
bit of
think there's
points for
extra
that,
little
correct?
bonus points and little twists around it. So
All right, I want to put you on the spot now. We're
Okay.
going to switch over to your point of view. So
Okay.
so first of
Pick
all,
something
going for the
sick.
controller, right? Because we
Probably pick
support
that up.
mouse and keyboard or controller, doesn't
I'm
matter.
a controller guy.
Whatever suits your fancy. Tom, I am hearing from our friends over here in the room that it sounds like chat is unsurprisingly very interested in seeing the BR.
You know, I think that's expected.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring up the BR then. Let's see how. I mean,
Fucking
how,
dude,
hey,
there's
my
so
kids-
Right,
many
you're going with
guns.
the more exotic weapons, though. So maybe we just kind of break the rules and squeeze in a third game.
We'll squeeze in another
Okay.
one.
Show me something
try to
cool
go
and new.
The third tier, so people can see.
I'm
kind of
curious
different
about the
behaviors.
VR though,
So
let's
you
be
see, there
honest.
were
It's
kind
a
of more bouncing
staple.
targets in what you were doing.
It's a
So you'll
staple.
see this. They should take a little more cover and stuff. But yeah, obviously a fan favorite weapon.
So
I'm
yeah.
really nervous how well I'm going to score. Let's see.
Well,
How
at least
does
we're
it
picking
look?
different weapons, so we're not really like we can't really compare each other.
crosshairs like
against each
the-
other, right? So
It's beefy.
Yeah, people are already making fun of me in the stream. I can see it. Or imagine at least. I'm really terrible about managing my reloads. I'm like an incessant reloader.
Yep.
See there, I probably shouldn't have reloaded right there.
well, it's when we're missing shots like you and I do, it makes it.
Oh,
a
there
little
we go.
harder to
There's
be
a good-
predictable on that
I
reload
know.
too,
I
right?
There's a
really
good-
feel like it's part of my job to get better at this, and I'm trying. And
Oh,
and
there's
I am
blood
getting
too. That's
better.
interesting.
I'm a little more
I'm pretty
better
sure Halo
at,
5 had, like,
UTVs,
0
kinda my
blood.
brag. But you
Yeah.
can see they're kind of dancing around a little bit. They're strafing more. They're not just bounce patterns.
Oh, the double
headshots
take, the
at
double
one.
zig.
You almost got this.
Crap reload.
Time's up. I think that's a pretty good score. Well, it's a new high score compared to whoever else played on this build.
I think nobody. So all right.
Yeah.
So I hit tier 2. So rank 2. So yeah. So you can see like we're trying to kind of give you some grading so you can understand your skill level and like how
got
you
some
can get
weave.
better, or,
That
you know, a little bit,
weave
like,
is
kind of
good.
encouraging you to get better, so you can understand where you're meeting.
All right, I think we're getting the request. Let's maybe like at least one more.
Alright.
You want to play one more since you're already in? Why don't you do
I
it?
mean,
I'll put you on the
okay,
spot.
I'll do it.
So I'm hearing that there's a lot of interest in the heat wave. This
Alright.
is I don't think we've really seen or shown this really to date. So this
Okay.
is obviously
That thing
new
looks
and exciting.
sick, dude.
A little bit unconventional, right? A little bit different.
Yeah, it's
The fuck
different. I mean,
is
it has
that?
an alt fire, which is cool. It's something that's kind of new to Halo. I know Quinn and his team was really proud of that.
I mean, Plasma Pistols had- oh, not really an alt fire, I guess.
This kind of more in the game. This weapon's really fun, and the two alt modes, or the two modes, are basically vertical and horizontal fire.
Oh, crack up.
Can't remember how this drill performs, so see, one of the things cool about the drills,
Dude, this is just like that
there's a lot of they're trying to
wave
do
from-
behaviors that actually encourage you to use the weapon correctly. So like these two were bouncing near each other, and so you can get a more optimal like kind of horizontal shot.
Yeah, and I know folks notice it's pretty
It's
nuanced
venting.
there, but I think you're using your left trigger to sort of swap between those two
Yeah,
different
the
firing
two modes,
right?
okay.
Yep.
All right, get together, boys. Thank
Oh,
you.
and this will penetrate, right? So you
Yeah,
can line
so
guys up
over
and just take them all.
penetrates. Oh, it's
Very
the
cool.
Yeah,
flash
line
shots,
them all
so-
up. We'll line all the boys up and penetrate.
I'm
It's-
definitely not managing my reload. I feel like I have more time in
That-
the game.
that,
because when
uh,
you're in
that
a match,
animation
like,
where
high line
he's, like,
cover, but
charging
this
it
is
up
definitely
looks
that,
really
kind
good.
of stressful.
Kinda
Which
like-
is in a good way. Like it helps you get better by going through the repetitions and the drills.
Well, the world
Yeah,
watching
dude,
can
that's
probably-
sick.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I think I'm more nervous about you just giving me shit after. Oops.
We're fine.
Oh, he swore on the
That's all right, we
stream.
ran the ESRB up front.
thank
We're
you.
good.
Oh, that's
We're
good.
good. We said it may
I
make
can't help it. I'm.
Hey, you did
content
well
may
with
not be
that.
Suitable for all audiences. Look at you, man.
all right.
You're
I did all
sandbagging
right.
us here. 3-star. You're a master. So
Maybe
that's
we haven't
Sandbagged.
seen those scores yet. So.
Sand-
We're not
Bag
going to
McGee.
go through every weapon drill, but you know when the tech build goes out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
the
this-
weapon drills. Will be
Oh, I
available
forgot
right
that's
away, so
tomorrow.
you
I
folks
was so
that are
excited about
in the
this.
flight can play to the heart's content all weekend long.
Oh.
I encourage you to do that, and I want to see people kind of see if you can beat Tom's score. There you go. Let's throw the gauntlet out.
Yeah,
See-
please. I mean, please beat my score. If you don't, I'll be disappointed. So.
So, Tom, obviously, you know, we talk a little bit about bots as it relates to the Academy experience that we just saw here, but bots is kind of the other signature experience as part of the tech preview. So, before we get into the specifics, bots are brand new to Halo. Like, what do you want the world to know about bots? What's cool about them? Why are you excited about them?
I'm really excited about bots because, again, like playing multiplayer in Halo is a scary thing, and so it gives players like we have this kind of notion of safe and being able to play safe and offline in the training mode and things like that. And so having bots to really reflect kind of player behaviors is a big goal of ours. And so actually, our bots don't cheat. I'm really proud of the work our bots team has done. They really are emulating player behaviors. They're doing things like watching the motion tracker. They're listening for footsteps. They'll like prenade an area as you
Interesting.
get into the better bots and things like that. So they actually are kind
Interesting.
of reflecting player behaviors back into the game for you to even if you're a learning player, you can kind of it did that. That's something I can learn.
Oh,
That's
it
cool.
threw a
But,
grenade
yeah,
in the
really just
room and then
giving players
BR'd me in the
safe place
face.
to experiment and learn and warm up. Like we found out, the community was like when we first started talking about, they're like, oh, I can warm up before a match and stuff like that, and that was absolutely part of the intent. And we see we do it actually internally, or watching our pro team do it as well. So.
Yeah, they are. They're no slouches either. I can say. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. We
Yeah,
mentioned
watch
this
me
a
get
little bit in our
my watch
vlog
me get
last
my
week,
shit
but,
pushed in.
my understanding is we want to kind of ease people into the experience this weekend, so they'll be able to jump online. And I think it's our second lowest skill level bots to start with, right?
Yeah, we have in the game we'll have 4 different tiers of bots. There's recruit, and then there's marine, there's ODST and Spartan. And like we're gonna start with the
ranking systems.
marine level, which is basically kind of like a silver level player. And then we have the ODST, which are more like a gold, and then
Spartan.
the Spartan is I'm losing my words right now. But they are obviously the higher difficulty level. But we're trying to get like really just.
I want one of those
they're the
mouse
bot
pads,
player,
man. Those are
so I'm
sick.
the only one thinking that. But yeah, so we're trying to just really kind of ramp it up. We want to let players play against the different spots, so we can see the different kind of how players perform against them. We know they're not gonna like. They're not shotsy. They're not gonna like just dong on you like immediately, even when we get to our highest level. They really are a warm up and a learning tool inside of the game.
Yeah, and I think
So it's kinda like they're good, but they're not
We want to get
that good.
focused testing and data and sort of feedback on each of those sort of bot. You just mentioned the bot sort of skill levels. So if, for example, we get enough engagement and the collective community slays enough bots after we go live on Thursday, my understanding is, okay, cool, you guys have passed
I
phase
wonder
one
this.
now,
They've
right?
got
So
AI training
then we're gonna
models.
kick off and escalate and sort
Maybe
of raise the
that's what it
difficulty up
is.
and introduce the ODST bots. So our hope and expectation is
Man, you
that
could really
everyone
troll.
out there is playing so much. We're getting
You
all
could
the data
really
that we
troll
need,
343
gonna
and just
keep
do
ratcheting
really
it up with the
ridiculous
goal of, let's hope
behaviors
by
every
Sunday
time you're in
we've
a
got
bot
Spartan
match.
bots out there, and we'll really see how
Like,
some players can stack
Just
up to that.
teabag in a corner
And I
or
believe
something
we're also
every time
gonna
you play a
kind of
bots
gradually
match, and
introduce
the bot
maps
will
in
always
similar
just run to
fashion.
that
So
corner.
the big message there, I think, for
I
tech
wonder this.
preview
Yeah, I wonder this
participants
being
is
they're training an
we need you
AI
to play a
model.
lot and come back every day because we're going to try to keep that experience evolving and keep it fresh. I also wanted to shout out that we're going to be keeping an eye on our stats on the back end and looking to do a little celebratory shout outs on the Halo Twitter account. So each day we're going to be looking for which player has slayed the most bots, who's won the most games, and also I think kind of interesting, which team has been able to get 50 slays and win their game against bots the fastest. And what's really cool in a twist here, we're going to track all that. We'll shout you out on our social channels. But when this game launches this holiday, we're going to capture your gamer tags now and be able to you'll be the first ever recipients of one of our sort of exclusive emblems, nameplates rather, for the Fire Unicorn, which has been sort of something that we've had throughout Halo 5, a little bit in MCC as well. So pretty cool. We're able to kind of start that muscle now a little bit.
Yeah.
Weird.
So
They just said
bragging
they
rights,
weren't
high
getting
stakes.
anything.
Slay a lot of bots, play a lot, but don't slouch because these bots mean business, especially by the time we get to Sunday. So Tom, the last thing I kind of wanted to switch into as well, speaking of evolving the experience, we're thinking about possibly turning on some classic Slayer Arena, I believe, as well at the end of the weekend, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the intent is we're gonna start with live.
Oh,
fire,
shit.
with the map, which is one of our arena maps, and then we'll go into recharge, or we'll add recharge, and then we'll add Bazaar, which is set in Mombasa.
I
actually,
wonder if
really want
that's
people, especially our fans, to go
Zanzibar.
on that map. There's some kind of nerdy lore things in there that are super cool. But yeah, then
Zanzibar?
at the end, the intent is at the very end, we'll we can unlock basically a chance to play some 4v4. There's a bug in there right now where sometimes you won't match at 4v4. You can get a 3v4 match.
Oh yeah,
we
sweet.
should backfill somebody into that match. Hopefully, generally within a minute or so. It depends on obviously matchmaking and population.
Okay, so that's why they're doing
But yeah,
bots
so
only
it
at this
should balance
stage.
out. Again, it's not going to give you that full fair, like core competitive Halo start, but it will give players at least a first chance at like hands on stick to kind of put sights on another player.
For sure, and I just kind of wanted to reemphasize, like our number one priority is the bot experience, and it's getting all the data that involves. Because I don't think we mentioned this, but
Sorry, just putting my
even just
shoes
from a
on.
dedicated server perspective, a bot match kind of taxes the servers and uses resources differently.
Yeah,
than a
100%.
traditional
They'll be
PvP
maxing
match,
out
right?
CPU.
So it is important to us that we load test that.
Yeah, the bots are actually, they're running on the servers, and so they're actually putting weight on the servers. And then it literally, because it's 4v4, 4 players
So
versus 4 bots,
servers,
you're
the way
kinda
they
s-
work is you'd
you're gonna
basically
spin
have
twice as many
a.
servers, and so kind of testing.
You'd basically
scale
have
and
you
stuff
you
like that.
hiring
As
someone
long as we
else's
hit these
machine,
gates
right? It's
and
on the
sort of
cloud, someone
checkpoints over the
else's
course of
machine.
each day,
But
we could
bots
have
actually require a lot
quite
of
bit
processing power to
of,
run,
fun
whereas
here at the end
just
of
you
Sunday
know
night. I
if
do
someone
wanna reiterate
shoots
what Tom
registering
pointed
that
out. We are
and sending it
aware
out
the
to all
experience
people,
does
that
have
doesn't
some rough
use
edges.
hardly any resources
But,
or by
as long
comparison.
as you're
So
willing to sort of put up with that, we'd love to jump in and be able to have that fun with you as well. So, Tom, I think the last thing that we have, we're going to jump into here in a minute, is we have one more gameplay footage. We have a full match we recorded. Before we do that, though, I have a couple other things I think I just want to rattle off. One, Split screen comes up a lot. It's a big part of the Halo multiplayer experience. I did just want to call out that that is not supported in the tech preview. It is still something that is important to multiplayer for launch, obviously, but in the tech preview, it's not will not be supported.
Oh, I wonder if that's
think,
not going
honestly,
in.
I believe you could even split screen in with your buddy on your couch, but then you can't load into the playlist together. So I just wanted to call
interesting.
that out
Okay.
in case folks get stuck in that situation.
So it's still in.
Something else that I just thought while you're here we could just chat about, I could ask you. Folks started asking this question as we showed off some of our NP content last month, and they're obviously going to sort of get the experience firsthand starting tomorrow, and that's about Assassinations. We saw a couple moments in the trailer where we saw some clutch back smacks that probably would have been an assassination. Folks have asked us, are they in, are they out, what's going on with Assassinations? So what's the scoop there?
So they're not in for launch, and I think we're just going to be straight about that, right? Like, we actually really love Assassinations, and I remember being at an HCS tournament with Quinn Del Hoyo, our sandbox lead, right when I took my gig, and we were watching a match, and somebody went to backsmack somebody, and they had Assassinations enabled on accident because they turned them off, right? And they got this amazing assassination. It was a super hype moment in the crowd. But what happens at a lot of levels is people just turn them off because there's a gameplay disadvantage of it. And so one of the things we really wanted to do
there's
is
also a psychological
take a step back
advantage.
and how do we think about how do these fit into infinite gameplay loops? And so one of the things that Quinn and I keep talking about is like when we bring them back, we want them to be back and fit right into our sandbox and the loops of the game, and bring them back in a way that really just feels meaningful. So they're always an accessible tool.
So I wonder
but also
if
kind of a flourish moment that people have.
Yeah, so we talk about this a lot. Launch is only the beginning. Jerry,
they'll add them in as a package. I reckon they'll probably roadmap that because they've already got all the animations. They'll probably roadmap that and introduce them step by step.
It's something to look forward to, and I can't wait to see how bots evolve and eventually, Assassinations evolve. Bots will evolve too, right? No, you're right. Getting assassinated by a recruit bot would be I think you have to resign at that point if that were to happen.
I think we delete
right?
your profile at that point.
So I think one more thing we're going to show today, I know people have still been clamoring for we just want to see a full match. Just show us a match end to end. So we have that here today. We're going to do that right now.
All right, here we go, full match.
Just to kind of tee this up, I believe this was recorded last week or so. This is Xbox Series X gameplay just directly out of the console. These are not bots in play. This is a 4v4 Slayer on live fire.
Yep.
I think a few members of
hopefully
our
there's some new weapons here because
of the studio
I'm
at large.
excited to see how
kind of to your point,
all
right
of these
now, for this focus,
all of these
this
things
is
sort
not,
of
we're not
connect
trying to
together.
sort of say telegraph.
I also want to see how good the BR is in a
game.
real match.
So this is about social, it's about fun, it's about learning and kind of evolving. So no one should read too much into that, right?
Yeah, I mean this is not your BR starts really curated level. This is kind of more what we call internally like our pub experience or our non-ranked experience. And so this is more of the quick play option that people will be seeing.
Well, let's roll that, Josh, if you got it ready. And, Tom, if you want to we can kind of provide some commentary along the way. We're not going to try to cast this or anything. I'm sure folks are just eager to soak it in.
I get Bravo to yell at me later if I do.
It's about 7 to 8 minutes, I think, end to end. But this is a full match of 4v4 Slayer, Halo Infinite,
all right.
in our tech preview, essentially a version of this build on Livefire. So, Josh, go ahead and roll that one.
Yeah, they're definitely going to monetize Assassinations.
All
right, here we go.
This is a pro team POV.
Well, let's see how good they are.
He knew he was going to
Right
spawn
off the
there.
bat, going for
So
the
he's
heat
got the heat wave, right?
Yep.
So he switched the vert.
This guy. Oh man, that thing's pretty good.
There's
Steitzer.
Stites. It's good to have Steitzer back, or we call it. There's some nickname of Stitesy is kind of the people implementing the VO. So
Interesting.
Covered the position.
Yeah, I like that little peek technique. I haven't
So this is
done
the
that, to be honest.
skewer.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot by watching this pro team video actually and how to play it. Like we watch them, we have regular weekly play tests with them. I don't play with them generally because they're so good, and we put our kind of better players up against.
Did he
them.
just teabag, cheeky fucker?
Also noticed that player went straight for the power weapon that spawns on this map in Slayer, which is
Oh, let's see how
hard to
good these
use,
needles
to be
are.
honest.
So you'll see, so you can see the friend foe. That's one of the obvious things you're looking at.
Oh,
here.
they
I
fire a
said
lot
this
faster.
earlier. This is something that we've continued to
Clamber's
kind of iterate and
good.
evolve, even beyond this build. I think this might be our main build right now. This power weapon spawns.
Yeah, and there's that voice thing.
Skewer is it's satisfying as heck, but it's hard for me to use.
I am worse at that gun than I am at the commando rifle for sure.
I play a
When
lot
you
safer
hit
than
the
that.
target,
I would
which
have
is the vehicle,
taken
it's
cover
super
for a few
satisfying.
seconds and just given that a few milliseconds for my shields to come back. But I'm also terrible at Halo, so don't listen to my advice.
They missed the new.
Oh, did you
Tried
get it in
for it.
there?
Tried for it.
I also have a theory about this map. I actually think this
Hard for
might
us
be a
to hear it
Forge
too,
map.
Yo, but I believe you're hearing some personal AI coming through.
Yeah, you're hearing. There's a few things. So there's the Spartan chatter that we had in Halo 5. Really just
Oh,
kind of
that was a
brings
good
the
grenade.
battlefield. Gives a lot more like reaction feedback to what's going on in the game. But you'll hear this personal AI, and what we did with them is we replaced what was called Spartan Leader, our team leader. And it's just a more personal version of that, and they have a lot of personality. And so
It's
we
like a
can kind
kill
of swap
cam
around
as
and kind
well.
of customize that feedback, and they give you a lot of low-level fit. Pulled the power up.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, that's
Yeah, I reckon this is a
change,
Forge
right?
map.
It doesn't activate on pickup anymore. You can hold on to it.
Yeah, we think that will bring a lot, in the
Brutal.
long term and allow us to do more things with power-ups than kind of just traditional kind of just quick stat kind of reflections, but having like
Pistol's pretty
really
standard.
the
I
notion
don't
of
think that
power-up
sidekick
equipment in
is
the game.
ridiculous.
One thing that we won't see from as in this point of view, I really love the visual language that you and the team have introduced. It's very obvious when someone's pocketing a power-up like that. You'll see a glowing trail
Yeah, there's
behind
like a
them.
contrail behind them. Yeah, that was a big thing. Is
A
making sure we
contrail,
just
yeah,
telegraphed
dude.
That information. That was, making that switch. There was a lot of
Contrails make the
critical
frogs
lenses on
gay.
Making sure that there was at least a readability to it in the gameplay.
I mean, so now it's sort of that risk-reward, right? Do I
think
focus
this is a
and wait for
Forge
that final
map.
Push? Do I burn it now so I don't lose it?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the, look at the joins in
in
the-
pocket it and think I'm getting cocky, and then I'll lose it. And I'll
Look
give,
at the
like,
joins in the
overtone
ground.
I'll give the OS to the enemy, which is super risky.
They're
at
not
that point.
super clean. Like this join near the door is
We've
not
seen a
super
couple of
clean.
sort
On
of-
the like the
what
way
do
the
we call them,
concrete, the
tutorial
lighter
tips popping
concrete
up there,
matches.
which
Yeah.
you can turn off in the settings.
Yeah, you can
right?
turn them off, but on their death tips is what we call them.
This
But
might be
giving
their
them a little
big,
bit of
like,
feedback, about the
Surprise!
type of
This is a
weapon that
Forge
killed
map.
you,
Oh,
and
did he get it through the gap?
respond
That's pretty
better.
sick. Oh yeah, that VR
I'm
looks
not
pretty
sure at
legit.
this point the pro team needs to know that, like, hey,
Yeah, exactly. Or like just opt out if you don't really care about it, if you don't need that information, or it makes you feel bad.
Interesting. There's when the score came up, there was a grey line.
I do love
They
this
were
map.
sort of grayed
Yeah, the
out where they
Pelicans
had
flying
been
by, it's the,
when they were
it's
down.
Homage to Sergeant Johnson, Sergeant Avery Johnson, Academy of. So it's kind of cool just to kind of pay homage to, like, one of ours and everybody's favorite character in the set of the Halo canon.
By the way, whoever this player is just getting active camo every spawn. I don't know what the other team's up to right now.
Seems to be watching that call out. Yeah, the power ups, we treat those like like the power weapons and stuff. They're up on a pad. They have a lot of messaging and broadcasting about them, so you know when they're coming up.
Yeah, the
Your Spartan AI will tell you that, right?
Yeah, the Spartan AI calls it out as well. So there's a lot of information.
it's
that's
kind of
gonna
good they're
drive you
making that
feedback
better for everyone too.
to get the stick.
I mentioned this in we do a podcast which has no views, but
You can see
the,
like there's the weapon rack.
yeah, basically they're trying to make it a lot more accessible. So just things like where I know that
see the
every 2
background.
minutes the
Yeah,
rocket
what's cool
launch
about them
comes
is,
back. Like
before you might
in my
run
head, I
past
have
the-
this sort of
the
clock
square
going, but a
weapon
lot of people
spawn
don't have
and
that.
not
So
realize that it's coming up in 2 seconds, and it could
You know,
change your choice.
yeah,
of
there
how
we go,
you
just
deal
what
with it.
you're
Like when we playtested this morning, I actually stopped at one point on a weapon rack because I was like, oh, it's like 2 seconds out. I might as well wait for it and switch out my pistol, which I think I'm just telling everybody that I'm really bad with a lot of the guns in our game.
at least she's honest. Know the feeling. Oh, maybe it's not a Forge map. The ceiling detail looks pretty good. And these different textures look really good. It could just be a testament to the Forge.
I do love the sidekick.
And yeah, it's really cool, and like when somebody's really good with it, it's really threatening because they can just feather that thing super fast and just crack
This
people.
this player really likes this little like drop wall kind of.
Oof.
Yeah,
corner
covering a
technique,
post,
huh?
yeah. And, like kind of locking down an entryway.
That guy
and
should have
launching back.
thrown a grenade before popping that
It's
player.
neat to watch how people use these, like all the different equipments in different ways.
But see how like dynamic this game
Well,
is. This is
hopefully a
why I
lot of
think
players
bots would
this weekend are gonna
struggle.
Be, lighting us up on social, sharing clips with us because I can't
Also,
wait
how
to
do
see
bots
just
work
some
on
of
a
the new
Forge
creative
map? They
ways
wouldn't have
that
set
the community
paths.
at large figures out how to use this new sandbox.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Like, I mean,
Man, that
like,
gun
the
is
way
really
we have our
powerful.
maps tuned like in our main builds is they have different.
I wanna see
equipment
this
stuff
thing.
on them, and because we don't have the entire sandbox in the flights, as we swap things out, so it's actually not even the same kind of basically map placement path that we would have in the released version of the game. But we, it just at least gives
Get a
us
kill with
something
a
so we can
skewer.
get something in there for people to play with. Oh, match is getting close. You can hear the music starting to kick up.
Yeah, I
Find
just
the end of the match is
I
coming.
don't know if that was my
I
anxiety
do
or
love
the
that.
music kicking, and that's
the
pretty
multiplayer
cool.
Music, very cool.
I'm really proud of the multiplayer music. There's a cool story about how we got to basically getting into
2
the
kills
game.
left.
But it really meets this tone. It's something I've really wanted since Halo 4. Was this kind of post-rock soundtrack to the multiplayer? Well, actually just a Halo, but it became
Oh,
multiplayer.
he just walked straight into 2.
Last kill.
Oh, did he get it? He knew where it was coming from, that's for sure. He's got to get the last kill. Man, some of these grenade placements are pretty decent.
Bill's got some drama.
It
Oh,
is.
I got
There
it.
we
Somebody
go.
else got it.
There we go.
That looks pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah, that was actually me playing.
Oh,
That's
was you?
my-
Nicely done.
Since we won.
Nicely done. I'm proud.
Sketch, you dirty
Hey,
dog.
so
That's
happy
not
that
you
we were
playing,
able to show
mate.
that today, not only kind of our first time showing the game on Xbox Series X, but we know the community's just show us a full match end to end. So happy we're able to do that. You'll be able to see a lot more of that obviously
That's great.
firsthand this weekend. And I think safe to say once we get a little further down and we're ready to talk more about the competitive side and some of the ranked settings, we know people are probably eager to see. I would love to see a true 4v4 pro team match. So
that'd be brutal.
we'll bring that later. Tom, any kind of final words or parting thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap this up today?
I mean, mainly I'm just really excited to finally get to put this game in people's hands. And even though it's just a tech preview, you get to at least touch the game. You get to run around. You get to experiment with the sandbox. You get to help us, be part of our team in a way. And then, just help us kind of keep building towards the next flights as we get to launch.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We're super excited. I'll be playing all weekend as well. We'll be online playing, watching. Just wanted to go through a couple quick things right after this broadcast is over. If you want to head to HaloWaypoint.com, we have an updated blog that'll go out that'll kind of recap the official play times that we recommend for the flight experience for people who are involved. You can take a close look at some of our known issues and just kind of get a better sense of what you can expect this weekend.
Yeah, look at the
Also,
release
just wanted to
notes.
mention that we're also going to be flighting our next version of Halo Waypoint. So on app and web, we call it Waypoint V Next here internally. That actually will be included in this tech preview. Really cool work happening there to help really extend my in-game experience out beyond the game to web and app. You can sort of experiment with your customization, challenges. That functionality will be working during the flight. Encourage folks to check that out as well. And as a reminder, if you want to be a part of this and an opportunity to play future tech previews and flights of this nature, head to HaloInsider.com. Sign up. Please make sure your profile is complete. That includes, we need you to verify your email, and we need you to make sure you pick which platform you want to flight on, one or both. And if it's PC, we also need you to upload a DX to AG file. All the information you need and all the steps are clearly outlined. Just go to HaloInsider.com.
Running
'Cause
Windows
next time we're gonna
95,
go
so
bigger,
we'll
we
see
need
how
even
that
more
goes.
people. We got to go larger scale because we still have a couple of steps to go between now and launch this holiday.
There's
And
no
lastly,
way the
just
launch
wanna
is going to
say
happen
thank
this
you to
holiday.
everyone. Clearly, the
It seems
community, we
unbelievable.
really appreciate your feedback, your passion through the years. We know you've been eagerly awaiting this moment as much as we have. The Insider Group in particular, huge part of our MCC project to bring that game, update it, improve it, bring it
This
over
guy's
to
so
PC.
Halo branded.
That wouldn't have happened without the
Shit,
Halo
man.
Insider feedback and flighting program. And we can't wait to bring that same passion and that same just devotion and desire to make the best game possible to Infinite. So I want to thank you in advance for your time this weekend, being a part of this tech preview. And that's all we got. So
Thank
share
you.
us your clips online. Head to Halo Waypoint for more information. And we'll see you soon. Thanks
Well, I'm
for watching.
hyped. I'm hyped. Oh, they're hugging. That's very cute. I'm hyped. Hope you're hyped as well. And there'll be plenty more videos this week, so make sure you subscribe and like. And I'm excited. I like this big trash bin too. I don't know what that is. It was pretty sick.